Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is a video. I wanted to follow up on a discussion of my videos from last time about SHTF and forgiveness and honor or integrity. A lot of good comments on that. Enjoyed the discussions. Definitely people, it's just, everybody, the what if, everybody gets a good thought process going. But one common theme, or a couple of common comments that were made, were it's definitely going to be, I guess the effect was, it's definitely going to be difficult until order is restored, or until law and order is restored. And that got me thinking, what is law and order? I mean, this might be a problem if we're waiting and expecting somebody else to do that for us. And I think that translates into what we have going on right now. How do we restore law and order? How do you restore justice? We all, well, not ever, all of us that pretty much are in this community, being the preparedness community, those that are awake or aware of a lot of things that are going on, pretty much are acknowledge that law and order is gone. So by that rationale, we're already in SHTF. Selective judgment or selective prosecution, if you will. So really, yet, in the SHTF, or even now, if you look at it that way, it is come upon us to, I guess, not determine what the law and order is, I guess. I mean, we already inherently know what's right and wrong, and that is, incumbent upon us to enforce that, or to follow it. I don't want to get too far down the line because I want to leave this open to any question. I don't think I have all the answers, but if we can't say we have to wait for law and order to be restored, I think, and especially in SHTF, we're going to have to establish it. You're the ones in your community, whatever you set, that is law and order. You're not waiting for anything else. It doesn't come from a faraway place and then come into your community and everything's restored. No, you establish it, and and to a large degree, that's what prevents SHTF from happening in the first place. Having law and order in your area, because you are helping to prevent it. You're preventing people from being robbed and raped and murdered on the streets, and you are, and that has to go along with the militia movement. That's really the essence of the militia, is defending neighbors and defending the community. If you're a prepper, like we've talked about the lone wolf concept till the cows come home, and I've always advocated that it's not a viable strategy. People always migrate to groups, and the individual will always have a difficult time. Maybe it is in certain scenarios. You got to go it alone. You got to do it, but it's not the preferred technique, I don't believe. And it only goes, but again, back to the thought of, if law and order leaves, you are left as the law and order. Are you going to be orderly and lawful? Which, may not be what's written on paper, because a lot of us acknowledge what's written on paper is just arbitrary and it's tax. It's nothing but a tax or a form of fee collection to a large degree. But lawful, things that do not infringe on other people, do not, not stealing from other people, things that, I think, in human nature, seeking seeking justice for those type of things, that should be incumbent upon us, no matter what form of authority is present, or supposed authority. And that's probably a lot of the problem of why we are where we are now, because everybody expects law and order to come from somewhere else other than themselves. And I won't get into the moral side of that, as in where you get your morals from, but everybody always expects somebody else to do it. And I'm not judging anybody by their comments. I mean, it's a common thought process that, we'll survive an SHTF until law and order is restored. But that process has to come from us, or from people that have a community or have a group. It's organic. It doesn't just come into your area. It springs from you. You establish a lawful order, a justice, if you will, and it can grow from you. It doesn't have to come from somewhere else. So that was just some thoughts I had when I read some of those comments. A lot of them were following that line of, you're going to have to do your best judging somebody's integrity until law and order is restored. Well, judging somebody's integrity, especially if they're lacking in that and they are stealing from people, that's going to come from you, for example. So just some more thoughts on that. Really enjoyed the conversation. Trying to follow up on the gray state thing. There's been I haven't seen any new information. Pretty much everybody's dropped it. It's been written off as a suicide, murder-suicide, homicide by suicide and everything. So it's hard to find any information to really analyze anything. I guess the whole project said it went dark, so there's nothing really to follow up on there. And now the theories, can spin from here that, it was all a psyop, which it was a psyop for what? To everybody get their... I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Why? Anyway. So not a whole lot to say on that, and I don't think I'm going to do any more videos on that. The BLM situation here in Nevada continues. Comment period on the current recommendations for the proposed 10 to 15 year plan is till March 27th, I believe. And pretty much all the meetings they've held have been one-way conversations. The wild horse people got a couple of people arrested and everything during that, and it's pretty. They're kind of being allowed to dominate the conversation. There's not a whole lot of talk about any of the other stuff. There is a bill in the legislature, which our legislature only meets once every 2 years. There's a bill in our legislature to. I guess it's a request because, of course, the state doesn't want to, supersede Congress or whatever, which is what they should do. But there is a bill in our legislature to turn over 7 million acres that the feds currently control back to the state, which it's a positive thought. It may not be I guess you'd say, going about it the right way because it's not theirs to control anyway, but it's a positive move, recognizing that land needs to be in the control of the state. So just some more thoughts on SHTF there, law and order. We'll talk at you later, YouTube. Live free.